I blew up a completely faceless channel in just 7 days. No team, no showing my face, and I didn't spend hundreds of dollars making the videos. That channel now brings in $7,000 per month and it's fully automated, meaning it brings in passive income every single day. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. From the niche I picked to the AI tools I used to how I made a single video in less than 30 minutes. And by the end, you'll be able to follow the exact same steps to blow up your own channel in 2026. So let's get into it. Let's start with the most important part in the channel creation process. If your niche sucks, you'll never have a chance at blowing up, no matter how good your thumbnails are, no matter how great your editing, or how many times per week you upload. A bad niche with great videos will never grow. Because even if you have movie quality YouTube videos, it doesn't really matter if YouTube doesn't have an audience to promote your videos to. So what's clearly more important is the idea of what you're going to create rather than how it's actually created. And that also means that a good niche with average videos can blow up. If YouTube has a big audience that all wants to watch a certain type of video and there's not enough of those videos, YouTube will start giving views to anybody posting in this topic. Of course, your video quality still needs to be decent, but even with average videos, you can blow up in a really great niche. And one thing I can tell you for sure is you'll actually do better in a good niche with low quality videos than in a bad niche with amazing quality videos. And this is how YouTube's worked for years. They only push out content when there's proven demand. People want to watch a certain type of video and those videos don't exist or there's not enough of them on the platform. So if YouTube sees 3 new channels in a niche that are doing good and they're each uploading once a week, if there are 100 million viewers that like these types of videos, but there's just not enough videos to go around to all the viewers, then well, YouTube's gonna reward anyone that creates a channel in that niche. But today, to find a niche that you can replicate with AI and that actually pays well, you don't need to spend hours per day doing manual niche research. There are now tools that do the heavy lifting for you and show you exactly which channels are performing best right now so you can reverse engineer their success. And the one that I personally use to blow up dozens of YouTube channels is called TubeGen. So right now I just opened up TubeGen and over on the left hand side we have the niche finder, and pretty much this is going to show us a bunch of trending niches, and it has a database of a ton of YouTube channels, the largest database of YouTube channels on any niche finder that updates every single day. And the reason that's good is because on YouTube you can filter by very few options, like over 20-minute long videos. The filters are very vague, and so unfortunately it'd be amazing if I could have an ultra filter that has every channel ever on YouTube, but this database is so large and we have so many filters here. As you can see, we can select when the channel's first video was. We can select a range. I can make it as old as I want, as new as I want. We can even have AI analyze whether a channel's faceless or not, whether it's monetized or not, long form, short form, the language, the average view count, the median view count, subscriber count. And the thing is there's so many different filters that you can create so many different combinations. But ideally, here are the filters that we want to do. So I always check on faceless channels only to filter out channels with a face and things of that nature. Just makes things a little bit easier. And then I do maximum 3 months ago, which by default, TubeGen knows that 3 months is like the oldest mark that a channel should be for the niche to still be viable. So it's automatically set to that. Then you have average view count, views to sub ratio, and median views. These are the 3 view filters. Average views, I don't really like, because if you have 5 videos and 4 of them have 100 views and then one of them has 10 million, your average views is crazy high. So median views is better because that's going to be your typical views, as it says right here. So I'm going to do right here is I'm going to do minimum 8-minute long videos, and we'll do maximum, let's say maximum 40 minutes long. And let's put the median views to 15,000 minimum. Or we can even do like 10,000 just to give us some more results. And that's really all the filters I can put here. You can exclude some niches. I'm going to take off some of these exclusions. And then we're just going to apply the filters, see what comes up. Now, a bunch of channels already come up. As you can see, there's even more loading. So there's a ton of channels that pop up because, like I said, this database is huge. But what's really useful is this sort by here. So the ones that I like to do are either the average views, the view to sub ratio, or recency. I'm going to put it on recency. It's going to show the newest channels first that meet all this criteria. This one's 4 days old. And we're just going to look through them and see which one looks like it meets the criteria. So there's a few things I ideally want to look for. I want to look for the channel having less than 15 videos. I want to look for a channel that has an English voiceover, because a lot of channels are popping up now. Like it looks like this one right here, for example. It's going to show AI restoration videos. But the thing is that a lot of people are watching it that don't speak English. So the RPM, which is how much money you're getting paid per 1,000 views, is pretty low. So here's one right here that immediately catches my eye. Let's check this out. So their first video isn't even 14 days old. It's 13 days old. Titles are in English. We got 71K, 66K, 22, 80, 17. This looks really promising already. And I would say this is a good niche because there's less than 15 videos. The niche is new and they're getting pretty consistent views per video. You don't want a channel that's like 2 million views and 1,000 views and 200K views, then 800 views, right? These are pretty consistent in the same range. And I'll kind of, like I said, there are a few examples of some bad ones. Like this one looks bad, even though it meets the criteria, it probably doesn't have English voiceover. This one might not be good because it's English for beginners, so it's going to be a foreign audience typically. Same thing with Mech Rebirth, it's going to be fully AI. Look at this one as well, fully AI. So there's a lot that come up here that are just fully AI, and not in the sense that we want. We want AI like we're generating a script. We want AI to replace workers. So it's almost like we have AI people working for us, right? An AI scriptwriter, that's replacing a traditional scriptwriter. AI voiceover, that's replacing the voice actor. AI animations, that's replacing an animator. But simply by having just these videos where it's like VO3 or AI that's just generative, there's no script, there's no voiceover. It's literally just prompt to video. Even though like all this could be viewed as AI slop in its own way, this is like a type of niche I would totally stay away from. But the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure, number one, that there's less than 15 videos on this channel, which there is, but I want there to be less than 50 videos across the whole niche. So how do we figure this out? On TubeGen, you can actually press similar channels and press continue here. And this is going to load all the channels in the same niche. So what we're going to see are any of these relatively the same age. There is one right here. It looks like there's one here scrolling down. Doesn't look like any of these are in the same niche except for this one. So we're going to press on this. This looks like the same niche. They're getting relatively similar amount of views. Started a month ago. This is probably what the other channel copied, and they have 15 videos, meaning that this niche in total has 20 videos. So everything checks out. This would be an example of a good niche. Now that you found a channel to model, the next step is actually putting your first video together. But without the right tools, you can end up wasting a ton of your time. And not all AI tools are created equal. To create videos that actually convert, you need good storytelling, good visuals, good voiceovers, etc. And most importantly, you need to understand how YouTube works and what actually makes a video engaging. The truth that a lot of people won't actually tell you is that even with AI, creating good videos can take a ton of time. Think about it. There are 3D documentary channels, 2D animation channels, news channels that pretty much use AI for all of the processes. And even though that makes video production way quicker, like 2 hours instead of 10, it just goes to show that if you don't know exactly what you're doing with YouTube, using AI is not going to be a cheat code for you to just print money. Otherwise, everyone and their grandma would do it, let's be real. But just because that's the case doesn't make this true for every single niche. In some niches, AI can bring the video production time from 10 hours to 2, like I said, or in some cases, the video creation process could take 10 minutes. The big picture I'm trying to paint here is that with AI or not, you're going to need some YouTube background knowledge to understand how to actually succeed. And right now, it's actually the easiest to start learning what to do, because with AI, it takes all of the skills that you needed to outsource before and made AI do it. I've been running YouTube channels for 4 years now, and let me tell you, I cannot write a good script for my life. It would take me several hours. And there's just no way I'd be able to make images or animations or create good thumbnails. So the simple solution is outsourcing, and that's what I've been doing in 2023 and 2024. But starting in 2025 with AI, it's kind of been going away. And that's because if I want a thumbnail, it's going to cost way more, number one, but the biggest problem is the delays. I'm going to have to wait days for the thumbnail artist to get back to me or for the editor to get back to me. And by the day I expect the product, sometimes they're like, hey, I had a family emergency or something happens. And then I have to wait more and more time. And then I just can't get as many videos out as I want to. And this is why AI is great, because it's cheaper and because it generates right in front of you. So when creating a video using generic AI tools, you still need to generate the script, the voiceover, the thumbnail, etc. yourself. And this is super time consuming when you have 20 different tabs open of all the different AI tools, not knowing which ones to pick and how to integrate them with each other. So in order to simplify the process, there are tools like TubeGen that are made specifically for YouTube that give you the exact workflow you need. Now, I pretty much want to showcase this channel Old World Ledger that we found earlier and explain to you why this is going to be significantly easier to create in something like TubeGen. You might be thinking the more AI you use, the better. Like I said, I already talked earlier about how the more AI necessarily isn't better. We want more AI, but we want AI that replaces human workers, as bad as that sounds. We don't want just like generative, complete AI slop that, you know, the whole video is pretty much generated with AI. So first thing, if you weren't using TubeGen, you would need to manually find this niche either on a separate niche finding platform or on YouTube or however, but I just showed you how quick it is to find on TubeGen. So of course, I think that's undisputed how easy it is to find here. Next thing you would do is you'd pretty much press copy style. And this is where TubeGen really starts showing its place in the field. Not only did you find the niche here, but you're able to actually clone the style. So instead of going into a new platform and trying to manually clone the style, like copy the videos, pressing this button, this is going to download every transcript on their YouTube channel. It's going to analyze, train an AI scriptwriter. It's going to choose an AI voice for us. It's pretty much creating a whole style to mimic their channel. And as you can see, it's successfully created. But now we can go over to the styles tab here. and we're going to see our style, and it shows Old World Ledger. It shows a voice for us. We can review this, even set the word count based on their word count. So you could change the voice, do whatever you want here. Here's like Frederick, for example.
And here we have a calm, well-spoken narrator, full of intrigue and wonder for nature, science, mystery, and history, with a smooth and velvety tone.
So you don't even actually need to go into your styles. This is where you could just create voice clones. So you could clone your own voice and actually use it. And TubeGen is partnered with 11 Labs, so the voiceovers are all really good. But to actually create your video, if I expand the sidebar, it'll be easier to see. You can press create video here and press create project. Then you would simply select one of your styles. So we're gonna do Old World Ledger here. And this is gonna create a project with our style. And these projects are saved in your project history. So there's plenty of ways that you could generate the title, for example. You could generate from a sample list. And this is just gonna give you, let's say you have a doc, like a Google Doc of 20 video titles. You could do that. You could copy and paste a YouTube URL or show your recent URLs you've used, or you could simply generate from your style. So in this case, if I press this generate button, it's going to analyze the channel that I just created the style with, and it's going to find their outlier videos and create titles that are most similar to their outlier videos. And because TubeGen is made exclusively for YouTube, everything is integrated into each other. So our titles are done here. We could choose a random one, like uncovered map showing Tartaria's bridges with no roads, for example, and then we just press use title, and then this just brings us over to the script. And then immediately to generate our script, it already has the style trained, so it's not like we need to move anything over. TubeGen makes it ridiculously easy. Like, we literally created the title, we chose which title we wanted, and then you would simply just press generate here. If you wanted to, you could even paste in your own title here and press generate. So it gives you the option to integrate from the previous steps, or you could skip steps, right? For example, you can go to the description and generate a description for your video. You can go to the voiceover and paste in your own script here. But the thing is, if we actually generated a script in this section, in the voiceover section, our script would already be here and you would just simply be able to press generate. So TubeGen's actually detecting that we haven't made a script, so it's asking us for a script. But if a script was here, it would automatically import it. Then when you go to the visuals tab, because we don't have a voiceover, see, we can't use the voiceover that would have been generated here. We could upload our own voiceover. So because TubeGen once again knows we didn't upload a voiceover, it's going to tell us to upload one. But if we had a voiceover, we have the option to use the generated voiceover. Then you can make your thumbnail in here, and you can even make background music that's going to change based on the tonality of your voiceover. So it's going to be, if your voiceover is 20 minutes and 13 seconds, your soundtrack will be as well. And it's completely original because it's all made with AI. Now keep in mind, if you were to use separate tools, you'd have to have a separate tool for the title, separate tool for the script, description, voiceover. All of these things, these 7 things right here, would probably be 7 different tools. Some tools do 2 or 3 of these things. So minimum, you'd have to have 3 different tools, plus you'd have to find the niche yourself, and then you'd have to create the style. So it's just so easy. You go in the niche finder, copy the style, you can generate the title, script. Like, you can go from finding a niche in the niche finder to having a full video made in 10 minutes. And by using the right tools, I went from spending hours stitching videos together to being able to consistently launch channels that make $10,000 per month each. And it's not just me. I've worked with students in my one-on-one mentorship who are able to grow their channels from complete scratch with no experience. Take Liam, for example. He just got 2 different channels monetized in the span of 3 days. So if you want to learn directly from somebody who's been doing YouTube automation for years and has made hundreds of thousands of dollars in the process of doing so, click the link in the description below to apply to work with me. But before you create your first video with TubeGen, there's one important thing that you just need to understand. And this one factor will determine whether your video blows up or stays in a 0-view jail. When a beginner tries YouTube automation for the first time and their first video flops, they end up switching to drop shipping or trading or some other business model. But that usually happens because they just overthink the first step. They assume they need to be completely original or reinvent the wheel and create their own viral trend. And the simple truth is, you don't need to reinvent the wheel at all. YouTube is simply like everything else. It's a game of supply and demand. For example, if you're drop shipping and you have a product and nobody wants to buy it, no matter how cool your product is, nobody's going to buy it. But if you have a product that's not that crazy, but a lot of people want to buy it, then you're going to get a ton of sales. And if you think about it, that's really how everything in life works, and YouTube's just exactly the same. If there's no demand, your YouTube videos will never get views, no matter how great the production is. So the easiest way to go about things is simply not reinventing the wheel. Of course, it's possible to blow up on YouTube by accidentally stumbling on something that has demand, but instead, why not find something that has demand but not enough supply? Meaning, find a niche that's already doing well, and if they're getting good views recently, then you know there's demand, and there's probably not enough channels created in that niche if it's relatively new. And it's pretty simple. The only way to blow up a video in 7 days is if you get into a niche that has a lot of proven demand, meaning you find somebody else that's already having demand in a niche and then be the first person to copy them. So that means the earlier you find a new channel, the better. So if a channel is 14 days old and is already doing great, that's going to be a lot more valuable than finding a niche that's 3 months old and doing great, even though it's still possible to blow up with that. Only difference is if the niche is 2 weeks old, then you can easily blow up in 7 days just like they did. But if the niche is 3 months old, it might take a month or even longer to blow up, or you might not blow up at all if there's already enough channels to meet the demand for that audience. And in general, if you see a new channel blowing up, just look at which of their videos are performing the best, because if a channel is, like I said, 2 weeks old and they have 3 videos that did crazy compared to the rest of their other videos, those videos just blew up, meaning people are currently wanting to watch those videos. So just create videos on the same topics. Finding a good outlier in a channel is actually relatively simple, especially when a channel is newer and it has enough videos where there's not even a newest, oldest, and popular tab here. But pretty much you don't want to look at their most popular video. Sometimes their outlier video can be the most popular video, but you want to look for the video that is sandwiched by videos with smaller views, if that makes sense. So we look here, immediately you see 17,000 views here and 22,000 views, and this 80,000 view video is sandwiched between these two. So let's say their videos are ranging anywhere from 10 to 30,000 views. You get like 15,000, then 20,000, then 30,000, then 20,000, and then you have 100,000, and then back to 20,000, and then it goes back to their typical, right? That's when you have an outlier. Now let's say, for example, this 80,000 view video was here, and that was their first video, and this one was at 60,000 views, right? So let's say their first video is 80,000 views, this one's 60. It would actually be best to still copy this video because this is their most recent best performing video, if that makes sense. So if it's sandwiched in between their median views, that's how you know it's good. So try and find closest to their most recent video, as close to the most recent, where there's a noticeable, I guess like I call it like sandwich view pretty much, where you have their median view on one side, their median view on the other side, and in the middle is a video that has like 2 to infinitely more views than those median views. And the closer that outlier is to their newest video, the better. Even if that outlier video isn't their most popular or not their second most popular, that's how you know how to find the best type of outlier video. And just in general, there are 2 ways to tell if you should stop your channel. Realistically, on most of these AI channels, you should be uploading minimum like 3 times within a 10-day period. For example, this guy has 5 uploads in 13 days. So this is true for this channel. And after you have 3 videos out and it's been at least 10 days, then you know if the channel's not getting views, then you know to move on and just restart. That way you didn't spend much time, you didn't really spend much money. And in most cases, like a niche like this looks pretty good. So I'd say realistically, if somebody were to start this right now, it would probably work. And once you've locked in a video idea that's proven to perform, I'm going to show you exactly how you can create the video using AI in less than 30 minutes. Like I mentioned, yes, you can still do this with generic AI tools, but then you're going to end up having to have multiple different AI tools open and stitch and edit the video yourself. And when you're chasing outliers on YouTube, speed is everything. You want to get your video out in a few hours after finding the right idea, not after a few days. And if you're not quick with making your videos, then YouTube will just not give you views, and it's pretty simple as to why. If you find a really new niche that's blowing up, let's say it's 10 days old. If it takes you 10 days to make that video, well, guess what? Now that niche is literally 2 times older. Yes, it's only a 10 days difference, but it's 2 times the difference. And the thing is, a lot of people will find a 10-day-old niche that's doing well, take 10 days to get their first video out, and guess what? Now when they create their first video, that channel is actually 20 days old that they're originally copying. But for some reason, in their head, these people think, oh, this niche is still super great because it's 10 days old, forgetting the fact that it took them 10 days to create their first video. And I think a lot of people need to start realizing that the age of the niche and how many videos your competitor has and etc, etc. Those things don't matter when you find the channel. Those stats matter when you upload your first video to compete with that channel. Because if their channel is 10 days old and only has 5 videos, well, guess what? 10 days later, they might have 20 videos. Now their channel is 20 days old. So you got to keep that in mind. Another factor is if you're finding a channel that's 10 days old, so are a bunch of other people more than likely. And if they're going to be quicker than you, then guess what? YouTube's going to give them the views. And then once your channel is lacking behind and finally gets your first video out, well, guess what? YouTube doesn't have any more viewers to give you because they already gave it to 3 more competitors that came in the niche in that time frame. And a big thing that YouTube really cares about to give viewers to a channel is upload schedule. If they see a channel uploading every other day, but it's taking you 5 days and then 7 days and then 3 days, and you have an inconsistent schedule because it's taking you so long to make videos, then YouTube will just never give you consistent views. You might have 1 or 2 videos blow up here and there, but it doesn't matter if by the time you're monetized, your channel's already dead. The only way to keep up is by producing high quality videos as fast as possible. And the only way to do that is with AI. And I'm going to show you the exact workflow I use to make videos in just a few minutes. So going back to our workflow here, I actually want to show you what it looks like to create a video in this niche. So I'm not even going to touch anything, nothing in the style. 2,600 words should give us what we want. So simply we generate the title. All we'd have to do is press generate here and you generate your script. That's 195 credits. That's just a few cents and it's generating the whole script. When realistically, if you were to do this yourself, it would take a few hours and it probably wouldn't be that good. And if you were paying a scriptwriter, it would probably cost somewhere between $30 to $60. So shoot, paying like 20 cents, I'm not going to complain, especially when I don't have to wait for a scriptwriter. So I'm paying 20 cents and waiting, like you can see it's already written like a fifth of it. I think AI for scriptwriting is a no-brainer. And trust me, when AI was first created for scriptwriting, I was the biggest hater on it because it was bad. But now we have tools like TubeGen that are more than literally optimized for YouTube AVD and is trained based on hundreds and hundreds of tests. And keep in mind, this is writing in the exact same style as the other channel. Like when I create a copy of the style in the niche finder, it's pretty much training the AI scriptwriter. That's one of the things it's doing on the back end. If you read this script and you watch their videos, it should be written as if it's the same scriptwriter. So it's like we stole their scriptwriter from their channel. Whether the scriptwriter is a human, an AI, whatever the case is, it's definitely an AI, but our script should be written the exact same way. So if a viewer was watching their channel or my channel, the script would be the same pacing, the same type of intro, outro, etc. And this is where AI is really useful to pretty much copy your competitors because, well, even if we know the niche is good, how can we make sure we have the same quality? Well, we can use AI to pretty much replicate their structure, their tone, their pacing, their intros, their outros. Now our script is done, and if I scroll up, we can go generate the description for the video as well. And right here, this is gonna go based on our script and title and just create a quick description for the video. And the thing is, if we go back, our script is still here. Now we go over to the voiceover and see it knows that we have a script in here. So it's not asking us to paste in our own script now. Now we could just generate a voiceover simply by pressing here. And because TubeGen is partnered with 11 Labs, this is something that if you're listening, please pay attention here. If you're using robotic voiceovers or voiceovers that are cheap, this is the one thing that could prevent you from getting monetized, prevent like some issues. When you see people saying, oh, AI can't get monetized, it's because people are searching up free AI voiceover and using ChatGPT for their scripts, and it's just complete garbage. 11 Labs, you're not going to get demonetized due to the voiceover. TubeGen is partnered with 11 Labs, so the 11 Labs credits are actually on discount with TubeGen. So even if you only use TubeGen for the voiceover, right, and let's say you only use the voiceover tab and paste it in your own scripts, it would actually be cheaper than going through 11 Labs, and it's the same thing. So I'll give you an example of what this sounds like. I'm going to press the play button. You can take a listen for yourself pretty much.
I never thought I'd become obsessed with bridges. Of all the historical mysteries that could have captured my attention,
So there you have it. And same thing, now if we go to the visuals tab, now we can use generated voiceover. We can generate images that will be timed throughout this entire video. And there's a few things that you can do here. You got advanced mode and basic mode. Advanced mode is if you want to create different segments, like the first minute has a ton of images and the rest of the video only has one image per 10 minutes. You can do that. You can animate them, and it's going to be timed to your script. So it's going to literally find segments where the paragraphs end, where the sentences end, and it's going to time and sync the images for you. And it's going to mass generate everything. You don't have to prompt anything. And because everything's in one spot and everything's so high quality and everything's pretty much allowing you to mimic, the fact that TubeGen is specifically made for you to be able to replicate your competitors, that's kind of the whole point of this application. It's just what makes it so unique, especially the fact that, like I said, everything is as high quality as it gets. TubeGen is only partnered with the highest quality voiceovers, highest quality script writing, etc. And because of this, you can see how this is only taking around 15 minutes to make max per video. Now, once we've created the entire video, there's still one thing you need to do to make sure your video actually ends up getting clicks. Right now, new YouTube channels are getting flagged if they're coming across as spammy or bot-like. And that means that even small details matter when uploading a video to YouTube. So if you want YouTube to actually promote your videos, you need to build trust with them. Now, one thing we can do to take advantage of outlier videos is we can more than literally just copy and paste this. So especially if we're new into the niche and this is my first or second or third upload, I'm probably not actually generating the title. I'm just stealing their titles, like word for word. You would not believe how many times I have Control-C'd, Control-V'd my way into a video title. Like literally just right-click, copy, and then right-click, paste when I'm uploading my video. And I just take their video title or just change something very small to make it just about the same thing. And then this would be my video title. And then that way I don't have to guess. The thing is like once I'm pulling in views and now I'm taking some of the audience for myself, that's when I can start using AI generation to generate titles based on their outliers. But honestly, my first few videos, I always just steal the titles and do them exactly, because if it already worked for them, why would it not work for me? And the great thing about TubeGen is the description, because a lot of people don't realize just how important a description is and how to format a description well. So this is a perfect way to format a description, and it's great that you could just generate it directly in here. Some extra sauce I can show you is that, for example, if you go into the settings of a channel, you always want to go to upload defaults, go to advanced settings, and you want to select the video language. I typically do this on this channel per video, but you can actually set this here to English and English inside of the upload defaults. Another thing you can do in your channel settings is go to channel and go to advanced settings, and definitely press this in your channel. No, set this channel as not made for kids, because even if you're making videos that are targeted to 1-year-olds, you always want to press no. And I would just set this in your channel settings, and that's because if you press yes, it goes on YouTube Kids and your video cannot be monetized. So make sure, this is just like a mistake some people make. They'll make a video that they think is targeted to a kid audience and they'll select it's made for kids. Never do that. Even if it is made for kids, do not select that. And just in general, if you want stats like these, some helpful advice is always schedule your videos so that YouTube has time to run checks on it, see if there's any copyright, if there's any issues with it, make sure it's rendering the video's full audio quality and video quality. I always schedule for at least 2 to 6 hours ahead, depending on how long the video is. If it's really long and takes longer to render, I might do like 6 hours ahead at the least. Once your video is properly optimized to get promoted, your job still isn't done. You need to use that same strategic thinking when coming up with your thumbnail, otherwise your video won't get any clicks. Now, when making the thumbnail, we know that these videos are getting views, 80,000 views, meaning 80,000 people clicked on this video. Maybe a little bit less and some people watch it twice, but realistically, at least 70,000 people have clicked on this video, which is what TubeGen is good at, copying thumbnails. So we go to the thumbnail tab and we can actually copy the link address here if we right click it and paste this in here and load this in. And you can simply press continue, and here's exactly how we're going to copy this. And keep in mind, if this was my first video and I was creating this channel, this would be my first video. So we need to change the thumbnail. So here's just some examples. You pretty much write a description. Let me remove this text. It pretty much is saying describe which parts of the reference image you want changed. So I'm saying change the bridge to look older and more broken, as if it's rotting away just a little, change the red arrow to purple, and change the text to say never ending bridge. And you're pretty much just telling the AI, hey, here's my reference thumbnail, here's what I want to change about it, and it's going to regenerate the whole thumbnail, making your changes. So it's going to take a second to regenerate this, but this is how we can take their thumbnail style, because not only is it changing the thumbnail, but it's recreating the whole thumbnail technically, and it's going to use the same styles. And one thing about thumbnails in general, never have more than 2 subjects. In this case, the subject is the bridge. Here you can see never ending bridge, purple arrow, and the bridge looks like it's rotting away a little bit, pretty much what we asked. And this way we can get a very similar thumbnail without actually copying it. I just did this very quickly just to show you guys, but I would actually make this like a paragraph or 2, saying maybe make the bridge go from right to left. Just make some changes, because this looks a little bit too similar. Just in general, your thumbnail should be simple. The one subject we have here is the bridge, and it takes up space. Notice how the bridge goes from the top of the thumbnail to the bottom, right? And we want as little subjects as possible, either 1 or 2, and then make it take up space in the thumbnail, and keep your thumbnail simple. Because think about it like this, the way I always like to say it is, imagine an old grandma with bad vision, without her glasses on her phone, with low brightness, trying to see your thumbnail and understand what's happening. Imagine that's your target demographic, and if that grandma can see your thumbnail and understand what's going on, and that's how you know you got a good simple thumbnail where you have not too many subjects and the subject is big. That's pretty much what you want to do. Now all that's left to do is rinse and repeat for every channel you make, because at this point I only spend a few minutes per day managing my channels because they're fully automated. Of course, even with AI, there's a lot of channels where you still need humans involved to at least generate the AI, right? If you're AI generating images or videos, somebody has to be there to write the prompts or click some buttons. And the truth is, all of these channels I start myself. I figure out the process and I create a workflow on how to create these videos in 30 minutes or less. Then I'll write a whole Google Doc on how I do so, record a tutorial video, and I'll build a team and I'll teach them exactly how to create the videos the same way I did. And that's how I'm able to automate all of my channels. Some of my old channels from 2022 or 2023 were just too hard to automate because there were way too many steps involved where I'd have to pay somebody half of the channel's revenue. But now if I'm on a channel that's uploading once a day and the video takes 10 minutes to make, well, guess what? I'm paying my manager not that much. And it's because they're not working that much. Then for these channels, typically what I do is I find my competitor and I just try uploading a little bit more than them. For example, if they're uploading once a week, I'm going to upload twice a week and stick to that schedule so YouTube knows to send the viewers my way. Then once I have a channel working, I just hand it off to the manager, start the next channel, repeat the process, create a new document tutorial, find a new team, automate that channel, and then I just repeat the cycle over and over and over. It's really the same thing, which is why it gets easier and easier every time I do it. Now you know exactly how I blew up a YouTube channel in 7 days using AI, and you have the strategy now to use the same tools I use to get the same results. So if you want to test test out TubeGen, I'll leave a referral link down below. And if you're looking to work directly with me to start growing a channel from scratch, you can apply for my mentorship at the link down below and start seeing real progress on YouTube, even if you've never had a channel before. I've already helped a lot of people get their first channel monetized, and now they're making more than they ever imagined possible. Thanks for watching. Bye.